is CNN.
Pigeon racing began as a sport where fanciers could breed their birds and race them back to their home lofts. But new forms of entertainment and technology now compete with the hobby. Traditional club racing has shrunk. Many clubs have dissolved, and the number of racers is declining. But in the 1980s, a new form of the sport began to take hold: one-loft racing. It is both a revolution and evolution of the hobby, and many fanciers believe it will save the sport. It has become a lucrative breeding competition, with prizes in the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. In this episode of Pigeon Beat, we take an insider's look at three of the smallest and largest races in America. We meet their owners and learn more about the highlights and struggles from their lofts. Join us as we travel to Tim Kirshner's Breeders' Fall Classic in North Carolina, Stephen Michaels' new Mid-American Challenge in Iowa, and Jim Ward's Hoosier Classic, the first $1 million purse in pigeon racing in America. Pigeon Beat is brought to you by Castle Pigeon. Pigeon breeders have been searching for alternatives to antibiotics to keep their birds in super health, and the line of Castle Pigeon products were specially developed for just that. Made in America and using scientific research, Castle Pigeon products are formulated by nutritionists to help develop a pigeon's natural immunity. You can count on the Castle Pigeon products to give your birds the health advantage you are looking for, naturally. Tim Kirshner spent 40 years working with college and professional football players as a trainer. He knows a thing or two about conditioning. We visit with Tim at his one-loft race, the Breeders' Fall Classic, to learn how he uses altitude to condition his 400 pigeons and a little attitude to tame his critics.
My background is as an athletic trainer. What that means is I was involved in the care, prevention, and rehabilitation of athletes that are injured. My friend Eddie Abramowski was a trainer for the Buffalo Bills. Eddie asked me one day, he said, "Okay, you've been down there for 3, 4, 5 years." He said, "What have you learned about the birds?" I said, "I've learned that I don't know a damn thing about pigeons." I said, "I'll be honest with you, the longer I'm here, the more I wonder what I really know." People always ask me, "Why do you do this?" You know, you're there by yourself. You're there every day. You don't know, you live so rural, you don't really know anybody here. You don't go play golf, I basically just mess with the birds. To me, pigeons have always been a challenge, not against other people, but what I could do with them. Can you get them healthy? Can you make them fly so that you can get the best out of them? That's the challenge of what I'm doing. And I'm doing it with other people's birds now. But, you want a challenge? Start a one-loft race. I dare you. I retired about 6 years ago, and I was looking for a place without the snow, okay, because Cleveland winters are just brutal. And I kind of went online, of all things, and I wanted something in the mountains. I wanted something up, with some altitude to it. I looked at several different places down here, and for the life of me, I don't know how I ended up in Lenore, okay? I have no idea. One of the things I was looking at was I wanted a place to fly birds and maybe start a one-loft race. And this place was absolutely perfect because of the altitude, because it's very open. I kind of got to the point where I just wanted away from people. I really did. This is an ideal place to have pigeons. It's ideal. My grandfather always told me, and he was a farmer, where the sun doesn't go, the doctor will, okay? And there's never a truer statement with pigeons. And I'll tell you another thing. We have destroyed pigeon health in this country. I don't care what anybody says. You want to know why they're breaking down and why they're getting sick? It's because they've been repetitively medicated. Look at the viruses that are out there and the bacteria that are out there that are 100% drug resistant. Why do you think they are? That's on us, and nobody will admit it. Nobody will, tell you, oh yeah, you're probably right. There's 100 flyers at least in this race. That's 100 different exposures of biospheres, 100 different biospheres of their own unique bacteria, viral exposure, whatever. All different. There's birds here from Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Canada, all over the United States. And it's important to remember they're all bringing their own little world. That is a handler's nightmare. Trust me. Probably the biggest complaint I hear about my race is you don't train enough. Because of where we're at, and there's a lot of factors involved here, but number one, we're at altitude, all right? So we have a bigger hemoglobin concentration in the blood. It's like athletes going and training at altitude. The reason they do that is there's more hemoglobin in their blood, which they can transport more oxygen, all right? When I let the birds out here, and it's been that way since the first time, the first year, the first bunch I had. I don't really know what it is, but these birds will fly like hell. I've never had birds fly like they will fly here. If I'm not training enough, if you look at the percentage of birds that I start racing with and that I end up with, those numbers are ridiculous. I would venture to say, and I'm not trying to, be a jackass here, I would venture to say nobody in America has the percentage of results that I do. Running a one-loft race is, most people think, hey, I'm going to make a lot of money at this. That's the biggest misnomer of the whole bunch. It's continuous, you're continuously spending money, whether you want to or not. There's a lot of hidden cost in a one-loft race. Maybe one of the most difficult things to deal with is people think if they spend $5,000 on a bird that has flown well in Europe, and you got to remember, Middle distance in Europe is basically short distance to us. But they spend a lot of money on birds, and they equate that with these birds are going to be great. And they send them and they don't do anything. And no matter what happens, it's the handler's fault. Okay, I promise you that. It is never has and never will be their birds. It's the idiot that's handling them. And you know what? There's days I don't feel like doing nothing. I'm 67 years old. There's days I just want to sit in the chair over there and rock. You know, and you just got to tell yourself, hey, these people paid their money, their hard-earned money. Get off your ass and go do what you're supposed to do. And it's that simple. And that's what you have to do. People ask me, why do you do it? It's really a personal challenge to me, and that's why I do it. I mean, people are like, I don't understand that. Well, then don't understand it. I'm just telling you. To me, it's like, can you do this? And can you do this well? That's why I do it.